And welcome to a special Capital Talk from The Hague, a program we hope will have an impact on the future of Kenya. Now, more than ever, I'm Jeff Koinange. Now, for the next 60 minutes, we want you to do what I usually tell you, is sit back, because we found a bench in the square in The Hague, in the corner of the ICC. That's right, the home of the ICC. That's why we're here. And the interview you've all been asking for, folks, the reason why we're here. Because 6 co-perpetrators of the post-election violence have had their first hearing, an initial appearance hearing. And now it's on to the next phase. And the man who brought them all here, who made them all come, is the man we are sitting down because we have a whole bunch of questions to ask him, and I know you do too. So sit back. Let's talk to the Argentinian prosecutor who's now chief prosecutor of the International Criminal Court, the man who is either loved or loathed in Kenya. I tell you, folks, this is the moment. Luis, he says it is Luis Moreno Ocampo. It is Luis, isn't it?
It is Luis.
There you go. Okay, now we got it right. So many questions to ask you, Chief Prosecutor. But the first one, I guess, the obvious question is, how did you come up with those 6 names?
We always do the same. We try to identify the evidence. We try to find these crimes were planned. Nothing was spontaneous. There were some spontaneous activity, but the beginning and some of them were absolutely planned. So we tried to follow the evidence. We found meetings in Eldoret region to discuss what had to do. The leader was Mr. Ruto. The evidence show also Mr. Koski in his own region did the same. Mr. Sang was in all the meetings, and through the radio he was giving some signals to start operation.
You have evidence of all of this?
That evidence, this is evidence. We have to prove this in court now. So that's the next challenge. Let me be clear. This is the allegation the prosecutors are conducting. The suspect have the right to defend themselves. So we have to prove this in court. That's our next battle. But that evidence we present to the judges, and the judges agree. That's the point. The judges agree. That's why the summons. On the other side, what we saw is Mr. Ruto plan was the evidence we had is Mr. Ruto was planning this for 2 years, assuming that it would be fraud in the elections, and at least the goal was trying to clean Rift Valley from Kikuyus and those who are not supporting him. And then when they believed the election was announced it was fraud, they start the operation. They start a massive operation to attack Kikuyus in particular and remove them from Rift Valley. That is the case against Mr. Ruto, Mr. Koski, and Mr. Sang. They can defend themselves. I'm not saying this is proven, I had to prove that. Then on the other side, the reaction. The next day, people in the government had meetings to discuss what to do. And the evidence we have is Mr. Kenyatta offered the support of the Mungiki to attack, and Mr. Muthaura, as a top responsible of the security, gave instructions to allow the Mungiki to do it. And that's the case the judges accepted.
And that was pre-planned? Could that have been pre-planned?
No, we have no information that this was pre-planned. We have they reacted. This is the reaction. Mm-hmm. That's the information we have. We had to prove this in court. We had to be protecting our witnesses, and that will be the case to discussing.
Chief Prosecutor, when the charges were read by the court officer, murder, rape, persecution, torture, other crimes.
Forced displacement.
Yes, forced displacement. I mean, those are huge charges. Those are huge. How you look across the room and you see Mr. Muthaura, you see Mr. Kenyatta, you see Mr. Ruto, you see Mr. Koski, all of them, and you say, could these guys have done this?
First, do you think it's true or not true that people were killed, people were raped, people were displaced? It's true. That everyone knows in Kenya this happened. What I'm telling you is this was planned by these people, and we have evidence on that. We prove the case. But that's for me the issue. There are 2 aspects here. First, these victims have to be in the middle of the scenario. Some of the victims are still displaced. some women rapists were not receiving any assistance. That for me is the missing part. If I'm a leader in Kenya, I had to protect my people who are the victims of these crimes. So even if you don't agree with the prosecution because you like a different approach, you protect the people. Where are the discussion between the leaders in Kenya how to assist these people?
At the same time, Chief Prosecutor, the fact that you picked 3 PNU and 3 ODM, isn't that very convenient?
No, it's true. It's simply true. This is what happened. In Kenya, what happened was they supported one political group commit crimes, and members of the government reacted committing other crimes because it's the way in which Kenya is divided, not my invention, no? What do you think?
At the same time, you normally go for the very top. That's what you do.
Yes.
You did that in Sudan, you went for the very top.
Yes, according with the evidence.
You didn't do the same in Kenya?
I did the same in Kenya. I'm not doing political responsibilities. I just follow the evidence. I have no evidence of Mr. President Kibaki involved in these issues. I have zero evidence. So while I will prosecute Mr. Kibaki, has nothing. I have zero evidence to say he was discussing this issue, was involved in this issue, nothing.
And what if these co-perpetrators, as you call them, what if there was to say, look, I was only taking instructions. I was only following orders.
If they think that, they can come and do the court and say that. They could say that if they like.
Are you confident you're going to get this to the next stage? Because, look, the initial initial appearance hearing was a scary factor. I'm sure you know this. Some of these co-perpetrators actually thought they were going to get arrested.
But that's something, when we say something, we do it, okay? When I say I investigate the case, I did it. When I say I present my case before December 2010, I did it. When we say it's a summons to appear, we are not arresting them, we did it. But also when we say, if these people threat the witness, affect the witness, will request an arrest, also I will do it. But when we say it's a summons to appear, it's a summons to appear.
Are you worried about the intimidation of witnesses? Are you worried about the hate speech that's going on?
Of course, that's really worrying me. And even the chamber say that. So, because it's a way to intimidate everyone. So everyone is afraid in Kenya. And in fact, I was avoiding to go to Kenya to interview witnesses because I was afraid that what happened with them. And then I took all my witnesses I removed them, I protect them outside Kenya. I had zero witnesses inside Kenya. But that was for me, I sent a letter to the government of Kenya asking them how is the relation between Mr. Kenyatta and Mr. Muthaura with the witness protection system, because for me that's a big issue.
Are you going to request that they resign? Is that what?
No, you have to understand me. I am an independent part of the Kenyan justice system, but I am not a member of the government, so it's the government responsibility how they manage. They sent to us a letter saying that the Mr. Muthaura and Mr. Kenyatta are now resigning to the functions related with the witness protection. We had a good meeting this week with the Attorney General to discuss this issue, and we are going to go to Kenya to analyze the witness protection system to see what we can do on this. So that is for me the big concern.
Were you surprised at the battery of lawyers that they brought with them? Because they brought some pretty heavy hitters with them. Were you a little surprised?
No, that's great. I like they have very good lawyers, great for a good trial.
You're looking forward to that?
Oh yeah, we're prosecutors. We like legal battles, not a problem. That's what we like.
Yeah. This is your arena. Is that what it is?
We have to be ready to win cases in court. So, in fact, for us, it's the easy part. That's the part we are training to do all the stuff, how to investigate in situations like Kenya or in Libya or in Darfur where there is massive violence. It's different. It's much more complicated than investigating in a peaceful setting like could be The Hague.
Speaking of winning cases, your track record, the ICC's track record in Africa is abysmal at best. There's been no prosecution, not one single one. The Lubanga one was almost thrown out, came back in. Jean-Pierre Bemba, almost dead in the water. I mean, the record is abysmal.
No, on the contrary, it's perfect record. We request 24 names to be indicted or summoned to appear, and they did it. We won all the confirmation hearing, and now we win all the trials. Lubanga is finishing in a few months. I hope you will see Lubanga conviction before the Kenya case starts. We win. I never lose cases.
Are you determined to fast track the Kenya case?
As much as I can. But the problem is, the government now requests this admissibility challenge. The government is trying to say we will do it. This should be solved first. So we had to proceed on solid basis. So if the Kenya government is saying they will do it, the judges had to decide this issue before any other issue. So that is my only point.
Because that slows down your investigations?
No, because the problem is we have to respect Kenya government. If Kenya government is saying we are doing the case or will do the case and challenge the admissibility of the court, and it's the first time one state challenge, the court should be very respectful and the court should consider this very seriously. I think it's wrong. I think it's unfounded. But in any case, we had to discuss it properly. So for me, the only concern I have, and we will present the filing this week probably, is saying that Kenya present a serious challenge. Before move the case, the law says we have to resolve this challenge.
Bottom line, is this our fault? Did we bring ourselves to this stage for not creating a local special tribunal?
It's not your fault. We are part of Kenya justice system. It's not your fault. Kenya is managing this pretty well. Look, I remember the first day I went to the office of the Kenyan president. In fact, Muthaura was there. And it's amazing. I was thinking, okay, I had information how the fight you had, and now they're working together. And President Kibaki was very peaceful and calm and managing everything. So for me, it's remarkable how Kenya is managing a very violent situation. Look, Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast is crazy. It's insane. They're killing each other. It's disaster. And Kenya managed, helped by Kofi Annan, but managed to stop the conflict. And now we are managing, helped by the ICC, to discuss this in a proper way. That for me is why Kenya is an example. Kenya is an example for the world. Compare Kenya with Libya, Cote d'Ivoire, it's magnific. So, and that's why Kenya has to be proud of it. But I think what we are missing now is more leaders taking care of the victims. That's the missing part.
Coming back to President Kibaki's office, when you walked in and saw Ambassador Muthaura there, did you know then?
No. In those days we had no investigation yet, no.
Were you surprised?
I normally have no surprises in my life because I can't believe everything. No, I was, yes, I'm not surprised, but for me it was shocking to see the evidence showing Muthaura was personally involved in this deal on the Mungiki, and also Mr. Kenyatta, because both are big guys in Kenya, so top leaders. So that's why for me it was a surprise, yes. I was thinking it was more a police operation and was higher. So the Mungiki intervention was basically facilitated by Mr. Kenyatta in accordance with our evidence. Has a right to say the contrary, but this is what the evidence said.
And you have that. You have the evidence that says Kenyatta was the go-between between Mungiki and...
Yeah, that's the evidence we have. Yeah.
They're going to fight you, you know that?
It's okay. I respect them, and they can explain to me. They have all the rights to, but this is evidence I have. If they show me I'm wrong, I have no problem because I have nothing personal against them.
Yeah.
So yes, I shake their hands before because I knew in particular Muthaura. So I have no problem with them. No. You have the advantage. Look, I have no best interest on Kenya. I love Kenya because I see how vibrant society with the people fighting for the future. Kenya is an incredible country with such a free media. It's incredibly free media. Everything is there.
Yeah, maybe too free.
No, I like too free. Too free is better than no free, okay? Come on. I came from Argentina. I live in a dictatorship. I like freedom media, okay? But also, the capacity to make agreements, President Kibaki showed that. No, and I think we need this leadership, this type of leadership. Big leadership, making a good agreement to move forward. That's what we need here. But agreement not based on protecting each other's, not hiding criminality, not hiding corruption, not hiding massive atrocities. That's what Kenyan people like, I think, and that's why I like to help. But the problem is, a prosecutor cannot fix a country. You have to understand that. I saw that in corruption cases. I work in Argentina, I saw Italy, many countries. A prosecutor cannot fix a country. A prosecutor can do a little help, but the leaders of the country have to lead. And then that's the point in Kenya. You need leaders in Kenya who take leadership, protect the victims, but also make clear transparent agreement, respect the people interest, and move the country forward. Kenya is such a beautiful country.
And we were growing. We were coming together after the post-election violence. Like you said, the country was coming together.
Yeah.
But these six that you've mentioned that have come all the way to The Hague, this could upset the apple cart.
But the problem is, you cannot hide the dirty behind the carpet. Because if not, everyone was telling me, prosecutor, we are so happy that you are doing this case, because if not, 2012 will be the same. If we ignore what happened in 2007, will happen the same. So for me, of course, it's a conflict, but it's the opportunity to see what happened with you and then review it. That's why, at the end of the day, Kenyans will decide. They like a leadership involved in crimes. They like a leadership clean. They like a leader who is reforming themselves. That's a Kenyan decision.
You mentioned that you have nothing personal against the six, and yet Mr. Ruto, outside after his hearing, came out and said that prosecutor is an evil man.
It's okay. Mr. Ruto can say whatever he wants. On me, he cannot attack the victims. He cannot threat the victims. It's okay.
Yeah. There are also those who say, the critics who say that the Waki list, which Kofi Annan presented to you eventually, is what you cut and pasted onto your list.
In fact, no. In fact, the Waki list is much bigger and longer. No. And I think it's different. For us, the Waki Commission did a very good work. They collect important information and help a lot to try to understand what happened. I think that's why Kenya did enormous efforts. It's remarkable. Different part of Kenya, how well they were working. So now that's why for me, the issue now is how we can keep moving this. You know?
You mentioned Ivory Coast a moment ago, Chief Prosecutor, and what we're seeing on TV today is horrific for a country that was one of the most stable on the continent, like Kenya.
Yeah.
Horrific.
I agree.
You said in your words, you make Kenya an example, but nobody seems to be listening.
On the contrary, I say Kenya will be an example for the rest of the world. I never say I will make Kenya an example. I will always say what we are doing in Kenya is an example, and it's an example. And that's exactly Ivory Coast and Libya is showing what should not happen. And in fact, Ivory Coast and Libya is showing the world will react to that. We live in a world connected. When Kenya post-electoral violence started, your flower industry was desperate because they had to export the flowers. And then you are connected. Kenya is not just Kenya. Kenya is selling flowers here in The Hague. So the world is today connected. So, and that's why the world cannot live with leaders who commit atrocities to gain power. That's the rule. You cannot commit atrocities to gain power or retain power. That's the basic rule. If you respect this rule, you can do any political deal. I don't care.
But that's what's happening in Ivory Coast right now.
But Ivory Coast will be very bad, and will be justice there. Will be no impunity in Ivory Coast. But the country it's going in a bad way because the leadership is going the wrong way. So that's why, look, Africa is changing. Africa came from the colonial time, difficult times. Africa was trying to make independence, but then you have the Cold War, difficult time. Now is a chance for Africa to change. And it's changing. You have new leadership in Africa, moving ahead. But of course you have some old leaders trying to keep power and retain power through violence. That's why the Kenya could be such an example. Kenya showing, yes, Kenya had difficulties, but Kenya is moving ahead. That's why for me, Kenya is the first case we have in which we were connected with the election system. Because in the previous cases, in Lubanga, Bemba, there were more massive atrocities committed just to gain regional power. Kenya is a different case. It's a case about how a country decides the next government. And that's why it's so important. It's not just for Kenya, for the rest of Africa. We have 15 elections in the coming years in Africa. So cannot be election like Zimbabwe or Ivory Coast. Have to be elections better than Kenya. Had to be perfect elections. That's why 2012 is such an important moment.
And yet 2 of the suspects are part of your 6, 2 potential presidential candidates.
That's why Kenyans should decide. Who are they competing with them? How they are? Can they prove they are innocent? They will be okay. If not, Kenyans should decide who the new leadership.
And will they have the time? I mean, depending on if this case ever goes to trial, right? They could either be disqualified, or they'll come out smelling like roses.
Okay.
Are those the?
No, Interesting how you presented. I like how you presented. You're very good. Yes, I see. But that's why it's a chance for them to show leadership. I don't know. They could be creative, no? Because I don't think it's just a legal matter, no? This idea, I'm evil, I'm not evil, whatever. So it's about evidence. So we have evidence showing that in principle they did that. So what they are doing to change that, how they are managing to change that, that's what they can show. If they can show they are changing everything, that could be good, I don't know.
What about the people who are still out there, Chief Prosecutor? The people who lit the match that burnt that church that killed almost 40 people? What about the other people who were, the lieutenants on the ground?
That is Kenyan responsibility. That Kenyans could do that. That's the point. I'm doing my 6. The rest is for Kenyans. Kenyan can decide. Do more, do some of them, do none of them, do Truth Commission like in South Africa, whatever. It's Kenyan decision. That's why it's wrong to focus on the 6. You can focus on the victims. You can focus on the other people who commit the crimes. How they can do? Because it would be great if they start to do reparation. If those who commit the crimes are doing something for the victims. That could be a creative way to solve the problem.
Yeah, because there's still close to 100,000 IDPs in camps 3 years later.
That's a shame. That's a real shame. And that for me is the top here. 100,000 people still suffering the crime. And we are ignoring them. That should not happen. That for me is my priority. I work for Kenyan victims, okay? From here, I work for any person who no one cares, then I have to care. That's my mandate. And these 100,000 people displaced, these are my clients.
But do you think we're focusing too much, like you said, on these 6 and not on the real issues?
But come on, what I'm trying to say, these 100,000 people still victims, but the victims of these people. So my job is to show this connection, but then highlighting the suffering of these 100,000 people, I'm expecting someone else will protect them. And that's what I'm missing here. I will do my job, but who will care of them?
Yeah. Were you surprised that the protesters who came, the demonstrators who came outside the court, I don't know if you know or not, most of them were in support of the 6? And usually when people come to protest, they come to say, oh, okay, let them burn in hell or let them go to jail.
I like passion. I have no problem. People coming to say, we support the 6. Perfect, you support the 6. Even they can visit them. Yeah, no problem.
Were you surprised that the galleries were jam-packed? Because we could see you from up there. We could see the whole proceeding.
No, I agree. I think it's okay. Look, in Argentina, 85 happened the same. And I will tell you, when I started my case against the general, my mother was against me. Most of the country was against me. So it's normal. No problem.
You like enemies?
No. At the end, my mother agreed. At the end, many people understood. At the trial, that's the point. Before the trial started, even my mother was against me. I could not convince my mother that Videla, the top general, was involved in the crimes. But then, as soon as the trial started, people was understanding. And when the judges made the decision, everyone agreed. So the trial was convoluted, great tensions, but then everyone understood. And that's why, for me, what we did in Argentina could be also done in Kenya, and I think would be good. In the meantime, the process is complicated.
Chief Prosecutor, I want to talk more about that because that's fascinating. And also, what is it that drives you? What is it? I mean, is it just that you like people to hate you so much and then you convince them later on how right you were? What is it that drives you? And also, can we learn from this as Kenyans? Can we move forward as a nation?
Yeah.
First, let's take a break. Whoa! Chief Prosecutor's on the bench in his backyard. My bench, that is. Right here at The Hague, folks. This is the interview you've been asking about, and we're as candid as we can with Chief Prosecutor Luis Moreno Ocampo. Don't even think of going away, folks. The bench is just warming up in this chilly park. We'll be back in a moment. And welcome back to this special hour of Capital Talk, right in the middle of The Hague. That's right, for the interview you've been asking for. And we've got it, thanks to the Office of the Chief Prosecutor, folks, the man who brought the 6 co-conspirators of the post-election violence to The Hague. Luis Moreno Ocampo on the bench at The Hague. Sit back. Chief Prosecutor, what is it that drives you? What is it? I mean, you've been doing this since the days in Argentina, since the 80s. And your term is coming up soon. Don't you get tired of this?
No, I love it. But the issue is, in Argentina, when I started, my family, most of my family are military guys. So it's like my tribe. I know my tribe. And they were committing the crimes. But they were people of honor. They were nice people. But for some reason, they commit these crimes. And then, for me, it was interesting to show, okay, yes, even I like my tribe, I should not accept that we kill people, we torture people. It's unacceptable. And that's why for me it was interesting. I have an uncle who was a colonel. He stopped to talk to me. He died without talking to me. My grandfather was a general. My mother was against me. So all my tribe was against me at the beginning. And then I learned. And in some way, that's for me the idea. I don't know exactly how the Kalenjin and the Kikuyu work, but I think it's important, the tribal idea. The tribal idea is the concept that you have a community. You belong to a community, and then you work together. And I love that, and we need that. But then communities have to integrate each other, because also all these communities together are Kenya, and also all these countries together are Africa, and all the continents together are the humanity. And that is the new idea. Technology is connecting us. You are filming me in The Hague, I'm Argentinian, you are showing the program in Kenya. The world is connected now. You sell flowers that are produced in Kenya, you sell in The Hague. That's the world today. So the world is one. So can humanity be a tribe? That's the real challenge of our time. And that's the concept. I remember discussing with President Museveni, because President Museveni was inviting Bashir to go to Uganda. And he told me, you cannot understand because it's a tribal issue. And he said, at the end of the day, Bashir is my tribe. I said, but President Museveni, I love the tribal idea, all these community ties. In fact, I always believe you and me are the same tribe. We are the ICC tribe. So because you are the Bashir tribe, you invite him. But you are ICC tribe, you arrest him. So Bashir did not win. So ICC tribe is growing. ICC tribe is very basic. The only idea we have is we are together, no massive atrocities. 100,000 people displaced cannot happen. Cannot happen, simply. And those who commit these crimes have to be responsible. How much punishment, how they manage the responsibility is a different issue, but have to be someone responsible. And then we understand and then we move forward. That's the concept. That's the way to create the humanity as a tribe.
Someone like Bashir, you think he'll ever be arrested?
Yes, it's a matter of time. Look, it's a matter of time. Bashir is bleeding. It's a lion bleeding. Yeah. Richard Nixon, after Watergate, who was re-elected, when the prosecutor requests the evidence, he fired the prosecutor. Then, down. Yeah. You cannot be a president and at the same time be indicted.
Joseph Koinange, still out there, still committing atrocities.
Shame. It's a shame. It's a shame. That's a shame. But that's how the world ignored the African suffering. Joseph Koinange was committing crimes for 22 years and no one cared. We were lucky when we prosecute him, the Sudan government accepted to implement our arrest operation. That's why Joseph Koinange left Uganda. And Uganda is much better. But Congo is a disaster. Look, people think about I'm in Africa. Of course I had to be in Africa because my victims, my clients are in Africa. In Georgia, here in Europe, in the Russia-Georgia conflict, there were 30,000 Georgian displaced. Joseph Koinange alone, in the last 2 years, displaced 370,000 people from DRC, killed 2,000, and no one talk about this. So, yes, Joseph Koinange is a shame, and I had to put pressure to arrest him. The problem is Joseph Koinange is surrounded by a militia, so we need efforts. With 1/10% of the effort they're doing in Libya, we can arrest Joseph Koinange, of course. That's something we have to do. So, the world is changing, but it's a beginning. It's complicated, there are step backs, but we have to keep insisting because there is no future if not.
You think Gbagbo will ever be arrested? You think he'll ever come to justice? Because he's fighting all the way. He's fighting all the way.
Yeah, but it will be bad ending for him.
And then on the other side as well, how many
Bad ending for the country also.
How many Ivorians will have to die?
No one. No one should die. That's the concept. No one should die. Exactly. Leaders cannot use their community to gain power. Leaders cannot commit atrocity to gain power. That's the concept. We need a new type of leadership.
So when you look at the case against Kenya, at the end of the day, it pales in comparison to all these other mad atrocities going across the continent.
That's why Kenya in some ways is much easier. Absolutely. I agree with you. Kenya is much easier because Kenya government is challenging, but legally. So that's why for me, Kenya is an example for the world. Kenya is much more civilized. Kenya is the future. Yes.
And you're determined. I mean, what if we come up and say, look, Kenya can take care of this now? Luis Moreno Ocampo, you stay in The Hague, we'll take care of this business.
That's what the Kenya is saying. That's what Kenya is saying. But then they had to do the same case and same people. That's the rule here. So do it. And they are challenging this. The judges will decide. They are saying that.
What if this case never gets to trial, Chief Prosecutor? What if it never gets to trial? What if it's thrown out? Will you be disappointed? Will you?
No, I think each step is valuable. Each step we are doing, this conversation is important. So each step we are doing is a way forward. So just the fact that the 6 individuals came to The Hague, recognizing the court, trying to explain what they are doing is important. So each step is a move ahead. So we have to keep walking.
And despite the fact that this whole scenario was so embarrassing for us as a country, let's face it, it was embarrassing because these pictures were being transmitted to 1 billion plus people around the world.
That was embarrassing. Cote d'Ivoire is embarrassing. Libya is embarrassing. You are not embarrassing now. You're just it's a legal proceeding discussing the future of the country. That is not embarrassing. That is interesting.
Your term comes up sometime late or middle of 2012.
Yes.
Are you determined to make this your legacy? Is this what it is?
No. I'm one of many people who are working here. In my office there are 300 people working. So I'm one. And I'm very glad I'm leaving. Someone else will take my job, and it's an institution helping the world. That's what I like to do. Then I have to think what to do in the future.
Will these policies be carried on? Are you afraid that the case against Kenya might collapse because you're leaving in a year?
No, we're a team. We're a team. All our evidence is stored in databases. No, we're a compact team. We're like a organization, good organization. No, the next prosecutor will be much better. Will do better, so we have no more Ocampo, a new prosecutor. Fantastic.
And what's Ocampo going to do once he leaves the ICC?
People are offering me to be president of Kenya. What do you think? should I run for election in Kenya? Trying to find some Kikuyu or Kalenjin in my family? No, I don't know. I was teaching at Harvard.
I'm sure there are some who would vote for you.
No, I would like to be invited by the next president to go to Kenya to the swearing-in. That's what I like. I would like to that in 2012 we have beautiful, peaceful elections, and the next president invite me to his swearing-in. That will be an honor for me.
Do you honestly think what happened the last couple of days has avoided the bloodshed that you keep people talk about?
I think depends on how the elders manage the community, how the young people mobilize, how the journalists like you discuss the issue. It's not just about me, it's about you, it's about each of the people who are watching this program. It's a collective effort, should be a community effort.
Do you think Kenyans have woken up to the fact, that impunity does not play a part anymore, or should not?
I think it's the beginning. That's why for me, when I saw this formal, because you saw the process, no? Everything is formal, it's so respectful.
It's intimidating as well.
It's great, I love it. When I saw this, okay, this is accountability day. This is a day we're dreaming. 1 year ago, when you were thinking this day, this is a dream. It's come out, so the dream came. Now, keep moving, we have to keep moving, but we achieved something here, so we have to be happy, we achieved something. And it was my work, but also Mr. Ruto's work. He appeared, and then Mr. Koinange, he appeared. Oh, that's good. So we keep moving, even discussing, but keep moving.
Yeah. If they hadn't appeared, would the court have issued arrest?
Arrest them, of course. We arrest them immediately.
No.
Yeah, absolutely, of course. We are serious. When we say we present the case, we present. When we say if you are not fulfilling your promises, we'll arrest, we'll do it, no doubt.
Yeah, but what, you'd come to Kenya and do that?
We request Kenya to do it. Can they run to president if they are fugitive?
Wow. It's intimidating. At the end of the day, has this been a success?
It's still a step. We are working. The success when Kenya stopped the violence, the success was the White Commission was established, the success that the President Kibaki and Prime Minister Odinga supported when I say I will do an investigation myself, success where we opened the investigation, judges accepted, we investigate the case, witness came, because here the heroes are the witness. They are the ones who will speak the truth, and they are the heroes, and they will be afraid and intimidated, and they are still talking. So it's still a long journey, but we are going the right way.
And the biggest loser in all this, is this Kenyans? Are we the biggest losers?
We're the bigger winners here. Come on. Kenya, we're winning in Kenya. That's for me the concept. Kenya is showing how, in such civilized way, Kenya is managing the conflict. Exactly this week with Libya and Cote d'Ivoire falling apart, Kenya is showing a country was moving in different way. No, Kenya, the government is working. You have roads, you have a hospital, you have a police system, you have a country moving, and that we're fixing something who was complicated. So we're moving ahead, and Kenya working well. Kenya with a good process, a good election 2012, changed Africa.
I guess most of us look at the glass as half empty.
Yeah.
You're looking at it as half full.
Absolutely, and I see it growing. The glass is growing, the water is growing.
And the biggest concern, obviously, for everyone is a return to 2007, 2008.
Yes. Yes. But then you have to good discussion. If you just ignore what happened in the past, you repeat the past. That's the lesson we learn in the world.
Yeah, history.
Yeah.
There is that possibility we still could do that. It's still there.
Of course. That's why that's why the future of Kenya is in the hands of Kenyans, not in my hands. I will do my little piece, but I have to contribute to the Kenyan efforts. So you cannot expect that I can run for president, I cannot be a politician. I'm not a politician in Kenya. So leaders in Kenya had to manage this and move ahead. Protecting the 100,000 people still displaced, as you say, we cannot forget them, and discussing in the communities how the communities can maybe respect those leaders who are prosecuted, but also respect the victims and respect the truth and respect the other communities. Respect is the word here. Yeah. And the court yesterday showed respect. We respect the truth. We respect the victims, but we respect also the suspects.
You said you'd like to be invited to the next inauguration of the next Kenyan president.
I would love that.
What if it's Kenyatta or Ruto?
Whoever Kenyan decide, I would like if they invite me.
You want to be there?
Yeah. I think the future of Kenya is in the hands of Kenyans. Yeah.
Do you think we realize that? Do you think we realize the importance of that? Because sometimes, we're too pessimistic, or we hate too much.
No, the problem is you suffer so much. Then that's what's my feeling. When I say I would do my case in December, people have hopes, but people have a skepticism because they don't like to trust, to be disappointed. We did it, okay? We promised, we did it, and we keep working.
Even if it doesn't get beyond this stage, you're okay with that?
No, I like to go ahead. I like to present my evidence. I like to have a trial. I like the truth in front of everyone. But we'll see. It's a step by step. We have to enjoy each day of the journey.
And do you think at the end of the day, justice?
We are doing justice. Justice is not just putting people in jail. Justice is about truth. And that's why for me, the truth is what happened with the 100,000 people displaced. And I said at the beginning, my evidence show these 100,000 people displaced was the result of meetings in which Ruto was involved. And some of the killings and the rapes were the result of meeting between Mr. Musaura and Mr. Kenyatta. That's the evidence I have. They had the right to present different evidence, but that's the evidence I have. So what happened in the camps is a consequence of decision taken by leaders. That's the problem.
And the little journalist, he's also responsible for all this. And there were so many radio reports. There were so many other reports.
Yeah, he was the one, it's not about hate speech. We are prosecuting him not because hate speech, because according with our evidence, he was in each of the meetings planning the attacks, and he was in charge to provide the signals to the people in different places to attack. That's why he was so important.
Is it sort of like Radio Milcolin in Rwanda?
No, it's different. It's different because in Radio Milcolin there was hate speech, inciting people to do it. In our case, what he did is he gave some codes to run operations. So that was pre-planned. It was not just spontaneous. There were some spontaneous people, but some activities were totally planned, and he was part. That's the evidence we have. It's funny. I met him before, and I checked the hand. He took a picture. So. Again, I have nothing personal against them. I can shake the hands of each day. But if they commit crimes, they have to be responsible. That's it. That's the way in which we have to organize our life.
Yeah. It's nothing personal.
I don't know them. I barely know them. So I have no interest in Kenya. So I just to see if I can help. And also, I have the only interest I have is try to help to organize a world in which we can live together. That's it.
Bottom line, is Kenya a better country today after what happened the last couple of days?
I don't know. You can tell me. What do you think?
It's different.
Yes?
It's different.
In
We
what
never
sense?
thought would go down this road. The feeling was The Hague was 100 years away.
Yes.
It was,
Interesting.
yeah, it was 100 years away
Interesting.
and 1,000,000 miles away.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why for me it's important to go back to the victims. Because there will be legal battles, but that's irrelevant for lawyers. Focus on the victims. That's why I like the idea, focus on the 100,000 people displaced. Focus on those women raped, who is assisting them. Those who are infected, on them. Yeah.
And those in Kenya who think that Luis Moreno Ocampo is the biggest impediment to our forward growth, what do you tell them? You're the biggest stumbling block. You're the one who's blocking everything.
I respect different opinions. I have a mandate. What I did here is not my idea. First, it's Kenyan idea. Kenya decided to be part of the ICC. They read the treaty and they accepted and they implement. That's why Kenya I'm working there because Kenyan decide I can work there. And before I moved, I went to Kenya and informed the president and prime minister, I will do justice. They say, we'll respect the law. So that's the decision. So I will do my part.
What if Kenya decides now to opt out of the ICC and encourage other African countries to do that? Will that be a failure for the ICC?
No, it's a Kenyan option. They can do that. Then they can do that if you like. But this case will stay because you can leave after 1 year. So this case will remain.
This one goes on, but
Yeah.
future cases maybe not.
I hope that we don't need future cases. We don't need future cases. You see, will be new violence. I hope not.
Not in Kenya, but let's say other African countries. If the AU in July decides, you know what, we are leaving en masse.
You know what? You know when the African Union decided not to cooperate with the ICC? It was in Sirte, last minute African Union meeting. Gaddafi himself, personally, say, I'd like to introduce this. Security Council is not listening to us, so we should not cooperate to the ICC. Security Council had to learn. Okay, who is in favor? Uganda, you don't need to talk because we need what you know, what you think. Chad, we don't need you. Approve it. That was Gaddafi's personal decision.
And look where he is now.
Exactly. That's the destiny of this guy. That's the destiny of the guys. Yeah, they're out.
Could he end up in the ICC as well at some point?
We talk about this in May.
That's next month.
Yeah. We talk in May. You come back and we talk. We do a new bench on the Gaddafi. Okay?
Definitely.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Chief Prosecutor.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
No, thank you for this.
Whoa! Come back in May. We've been invited back to The Hague, folks, with Chief Prosecutor Luis Moreno Ocampo. I tell you, you simply cannot make this stuff up. He's broken it down. He's told us as it is. Case against Kenya is going forward. He says he has nothing personal against the six. He says they can prove themselves innocent at The Hague. Whoa! What a guest. What a show. What a place. What a park. What a Hague. What a prosecutor. He simply cannot find guests like Luis Moreno Ocampo anywhere else but right here, on his bench in his town, on the award-winning station, K24, where we are, even in times of the Ocampo 6. We are all Kenyan.
All the time.
Thank you, sir. Good job.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful.